Hi guys, I'm your student teacher. I changed my channel name as Teach Me due to some reasons. Today we're gonna see about an English lesson, and that's a visit to Cambridge. This lesson is a very important lesson, so you can learn very important things which is based on your life. This is based on Cambridge University. So you can see the images of the Cambridge University. Okay, so in that lesson you can see before you read, so we shall read the heading. So this is a story of a meeting between two extraordinary people, both of them disabled or differently able as we know. Say, Stephen Hawking is one of the greatest scientists of our time. He suffered from a form of paralysis that confines him to a wheelchair and allows him to speak only by punching buttons on a computer, which speaks for him in a machine like a voice. So Feroz Kanga is a writer and journalist who lives and works in Mumbai, India. And Kanga was born with brittle bones. Brittle bones is nothing but that bones are which is very soft, so it can be broken easily. They tended to break easily when he was like a child. So like Hawking, Kanga moves around in a wheelchair. The two great men exchange thoughts on what it means to live life in a wheelchair, and on how the so-called normal people react to the disabled. And we shall see the next Kanga's memories. Okay, so Cambridge was a metaphor for England, and it was strange that when I left it had become altogether something else, because I had met Stephen Hawking there. It was on a walking tour through Cambridge that the guide mentioned Stephen Hawking, poor man who is quite disabled now, though he is worthy successor to Isaac Newton, whose chair he has at the university. And I started because I had quite forgotten that this most brilliant and completely paralyzed astrophysicist, that the author of A Brief History of Time, one of the biggest bestsellers ever, lived there. So this is the on the right side there is Stephen Hawking, on the left side which you can see Kanga, Frederick Kanga. So when the walking tour was done, I rushed to a phone booth and almost during the card so it could reach me outside phone to Stephen Hawking's house. Kanga is trying to reach Stephen Hawking's phone. So there was his assistant on the line, and I told him I had come in a wheelchair from India to write about my travels in Britain. I had to see Professor Hawking even 10 minutes to half an hour, he said, from 3:30 to 4. So then suddenly I felt weak all over, growing up disabled. You get fed up with people asking you to be brave as you if you have a courage account on which you are too lazy to draw a check. The only thing that makes you stronger is seeing somebody like you achieving something huge. Then you know how much is possible and you reach out further than you ever thought you could. So I haven't been brave, said his disembodied computer voice, which is Stephen Hawking. Then that afternoon, I have no choice. Surely I want to say living creatively with the reality of his disintegrating body was a choice. But I kept quiet because I felt guilty every time I spoke to him, forcing him to respond. That he was tapping a little switch in his hand, trying to find the words on his computer with only a bit of the movement left to him. So you can see that Stephen Hawking is getting difficult by speaking with him because he had to press each and every letter to make a sentence to speak, because he has only movement with his hands to press that computer button. So his long pale fingers, every so often his eyes would shut down in frustrated exhaustion. So Ferdus Conga could see his frustrated exhaustion. And sitting opposite him I could feel his anguish, the mind bogging with thoughts that came out in frozen phrases and sentences, stiff as corpses. And so a lot of people seem to think that disabled people are chronically unhappy. I say I know that's not true myself. And are you often laughing inside? They're saying because they can laugh inside. So these are the images of disabled people. And about 3 minutes later, he responded, "I find it amusing when people patronize me. And you find it annoying when someone like me comes and disturbs you in your work?" The answer flashed, "Yes." Then he smiled his one-way smile, and I knew without being sentimental or silly that I was looking at one of the most beautiful men in the world. So. Friedrich Kanga was very impressed with his one-way smile for his answer, and that was very impressive for him. And first glimpse of him is shocking because he is like still a photograph, as if all those pictures of him in magazines and newspapers have turned three-dimensional. So then you see the head twisted sideways into a slump, the torso shrunk inside the pale blue shirt, the wasted legs. You look at his eyes, which can speak still, and they are saying something huge and urgent. It is hard to tell what, but you are shaken because you have seen something you never thought could be seen. So um, even Forrest Kanga's wheelchair, so he can understand his feelings through his eyes, through Stephen Hawking's eyes, so which is very guilty to him. And so before you like Aladdin whose walls are worn so thin you glimpse only the light inside in the incandescence of a man. The body almost irrelevant exists only like a case made of shadows. So that I know believer in eternal souls know that this is what each of us is, everything else as an accessory. So, what do you think is the best thing about being disabled? So, Forrest Kanga asked, "What do you think is the best thing about being disabled?" I had asked him earlier. "I don't think there's anything good about being disabled." I think I said, "You do discover how much kindness there is in the world." "Yes," he said. It was a disadvantage of his voice synthesizer that it could convey no inflection, no shades or tone, and I could not tell how enthusiastically he agreed with me. So every time I shifted in my chair or turned my wrist to watch the time, I wanted to make every one of our 30 minutes count. I felt a huge relief and exhilaration in the possibilities of my body. How little is it mattered then that I would never walk or even stand. So that's so sad. So I told him how he had been an inspiration beyond clutch and for me and surely for others that help him. No, he said, and I thought how foolish I was to ask. So when your body is a claustro, sorry, claustrophobic room and the walls are growing narrower day by day, it doesn't do much good to know that there are people outside smiling with admiration to see you breathing still. So he's a wonderful man. So he asks, Forrest Kanga asks that, "Is there any advice you can give disabled people? Something that might help make life better? So they should concentrate on what they're good at." So I think things like disabled Olympics are a waste of time. I know what you mean. I remember the years I would spend trying to play a Spanish guitar considerably larger than I was, and how gleefully I had unstringed it one night. So Stephen Hawking says that they should concentrate on what they're good at. If you are disabled, but you should concentrate on what you're good at. So Ferris Kong has a memory that has a beautiful memory that he spent to try Spanish guitar, So gleefully that unstringed it one-eyed, and he advised that Stephen Hawking advised that he should not disable people not copy the normal people outside. So because they can't do it, which has been doing by the normal people. So the half an hour was up. So I think I have annoyed you enough. I said, grinning. Thank you for stay. I waited. Have some tea. I can show you the garden. And the garden was as big as a park, but Stephen Hawking covered every inch, rumbling along in his motorized wheelchair. While I dodged to keep out of the way, we couldn't talk very much. The sun made him silent, the letters on his screen disappearing in the glare. So, an hour later, we were ready to leave. I didn't know what to do. I could not kiss him or cry because he liked him very much. Carlo liked Stephen Hawking very much, so I touched his shoulder and wheeled out into the summer evening. I looked back and I knew he was waving, though he wasn't, because he can't. Watching him, an embodiment of my bravest self, that the one I was moving towards, the one I had believed in for so many years alone. I knew that my journey was over for now. So, first Ganga from Heavens on Wheels. So he's the author of this lesson. So this lesson was very good. So if you don't know who is Vedas Ganga, you can see the images. So he is Vedas Ganga with the upper bones, and you can see his body, and he's sitting on the wheelchair. So thank you guys. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and if you like this video, like it. So if your friends does not know how to learn this lesson, and share this video to him, and let he understand this lesson, and make it good. So thank you guys, see you in the next video. So please comment in the comment section what lesson you want, and what subject you want, so I can take it or make it for you.